Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to our ESPN NCAA basketball studios. I'm John Saunders. Tonight is it. Number 1 against number 2. They have flip-flopped from a week ago, but it's still 1 against 2. In fact, Missouri's number 2 in the Big 8, or rather number 2 overall, but they are number 1 in the Big 8. Kansas the other way around. 6 times for 6 weeks, these teams have held the number 1 ranking. But it's just the first of 2 games tonight here on ESPN. We'll move it to the SEC after the Big 8. Mississippi State at Alabama. Melvin Cheatham continues to bolster the ferocious Tide attack. His team leading 16-plus points a game. But the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, behind Cameron Smoke Burns, hope to ignite a late-season charge tonight. Other games we will be watching tonight. The number 3 team in the nation, Georgetown, in action against
The Missouri Tigers rank number 2 in the nation with a record of 22-2. They won the first meeting against Kansas 95-87. But now they must make that long trek down I-70 and take on the top-ranked Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence. Hello, America, and welcome to the biggest basketball game of 1990 so far. Already this year, we've taken you from Carolina to California, from Freedom Hall in Louisville to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Barnhill Arena. But tonight, we are in the heartland of America. We are in Lawrence, Kansas, in famed old Allen Fieldhouse. Folks, this is war. It is Rock Chalk Jayhawk is the chant. It is number 1 against number 2. Hello, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Dick Vitale. Dick, you couldn't ask for a greater atmosphere. 1 and 2, they're very close, but yet they are very different as far as style.
Ronnie, an unbelievable environment. You're so correct. We have one team, Kansas, that passes the basketball, moves without the basketball, puts a clinic on, and then you have the great play of Mr. Peeler and Mr. Doug Smith, the tremendous athletic ability of Missouri. They are unbelievably explosive. It'll be an unbelievable show. I'll tell you something. It's going to be a great, great matchup.
Larry Conley joins us on the telecast tonight, and in fact, he is just outside the Kansas locker room. Larry.
Thank you, Ron. You know, oftentimes in the basketball game, as highly charged as this one is, coaches try to downplay the emotion of it and remind their players they must execute. I was in the Kansas locker room earlier today, and on the chalkboard were written 2 names. Anthony Peeler, driver, offensive boards, good in transition. Doug Smith, athlete, turnaround Jay, runs the court. Very antiseptic, yes, but don't you believe this Kansas crowd is going to keep that emotion in the game.
Okay, Larry, and don't forget they also battle for the Big 8 title. Number 1 against number 2. Stay with us. We'll be back with the starting lineup and the opening tip-off in just a moment. Welcome back to Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Sears Die Hard. And now let's go to public address announcer Howard Hill.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the campus of the University of Kansas and to Allen Fieldhouse, the home of the Jayhawks. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, for the University of Missouri Tigers. At forward, from Detroit, Michigan, number 34, Doug Smith. At forward, from Detroit, Michigan, number 22, Nathan Bunton. At guard, from Detroit, Michigan, number 23, John McIntyre. At guard, from Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Lee Coward. And at guard, from Kansas City, Missouri, number 44, Anthony Peeler. And now for the Jayhawks of Kansas. forward from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 20, Rick Calloway. At forward from Englewood, Colorado, number 42, Mark Randall. At center from Jyväskylä, Finland, number 44, Pekka Markkanen. At guard from Charleston, Illinois, number 33, Jeff Geltner. And at guard from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 14, Kevin Richards.
Coach Roy Williams, formerly an assistant at North Carolina. When he first was named as the head coach here in Lawrence, some people said Roy who? 24-1. They're not saying that anymore.
I love basketball, and I've always wanted to coach, and so every day since the 9th grade on, I've been trying to prepare to be a coach. But I think the biggest key is that in the 10 years I was at North Carolina as an assistant, I was exposed to the best that you can possibly be exposed to.
Season summary on the Jayhawks. Preseason, not ranked. Didn't take long for that to change. Number 4 by November the 27th. Then on December the 4th, number 2 in the nation. And number 1 on January the 8th. Then they, on the 22nd, fell to second, and now they are back number 1 as of February the 12th, just yesterday. Set to tip it off. Tap will go to Missouri, and Peeler immediately with the quick pass to the sideline, and McIntyre can't get it to go down.
That was an excellent look by Anthony Peeler, throwing the ball right over the top of the defense to McIntyre, who's a role player. Man-to-man defense right now, Ron.
Typical of Roy Williams' offense, something that he brought directly from Tar Heel country, and that is the fact you will see a number of passes majority of the times before a shot is taken.
Ron, they do a great job of moving without the basketball. A lot of poise on offense, excellent spacing.
Lost it out of bounds. Calloway, and Missouri will come back with it.
Kansas defensively is going to really have to lock up on the interior and shut down the bookend forwards. Smith and Button ran wild in the first meeting. They scored big on the interior.
One of the commentaries at practice yesterday by Roy Williams and his staff was that they have to do a better job of denying the entry pass, and there's a good example of it right there.
Well, the first thing they have to do is stop the ball reversal. As we look at Roy Williams, 15 years he served an apprenticeship, 5 in high school, 10 under Dean Smith for this great opportunity.
Shot no good, foul is called, and Doug Smith of the Missouri Tigers picks up the first foul of the ball game, first team.
Can't afford to get that big horse into foul trouble. He's got great mobility. The NBA scouts love him. Smith had 44 in his last game. A very explosive player who can utilize the full court.
And the word from the Missouri people is when he gets off hot early, hang on.
There's that passing game. Pass, go away, set a screen, shoot the jumper.
Geltner gets the unfriendly bounce. Randall battling inside, and it's going to be Kansas basketball.
Kansas started out of the gate in the NIT. They were just sensational. They beat LSU. They beat the running Rebels at UNLV, and they carved them up with great execution, and they haven't stopped executing even in February. A lot of tension. I'm nervous. You can feel the nervousness here.
Calloway misses badly. Smith knocks it down, and the Tigers come away with it as Nathan Buchan pulls it away.
There's an underrated player, Coward, the point guard, their leader.
Peeler strong to the hoop, and somebody has broken the scoring ice.
Hey, Ron, you talk about the great Souths in America. It's morning. You'll always think about Billy Owens and Chris Jackson. You have to put the name Peeler now with those big three. Man-to-man defense, pressure on the ball. Pass, go away. See Pritchard go away, lay a screen. They're always looking to screen, headhunt.
Pritchard out of Tulsa Edison High School. Geltner and Randall with the travel on the play. Dick, I think you're right. We've only played 2 minutes and 5 seconds, but there has been so much hype, so much build-up, and they're still college kids. I know, as you said, how excited we were about this game.
I'm excited. I'm all pumped up. I feel the butterflies. I feel the butterflies, and I'm not a player, so you can imagine the intensity and the emotion running wild within the athlete. picked up his dribble. That's a no-no. One-on-one, he's sensational. He's
Peter on the
absolutely...
spin, kisses it off the glass.
He's awesome. Ask Johnny Orr. He had 42 against Iowa State in a 2-point win.
Not there. McIntyre on the long carom, 2-on-2. Peeler.
Walking violations.
Going to be
walking
on the play.
Good call by Jim Bain. McIntyre gave the ball up just a little bit too early. You know, when McIntyre came out of high school, they labeled him the next Pistol Pete Maravich. There's the drop bounce pass. Should have waited 1 second later. Should have dropped the ball, and they would have had the layup.
Missouri 2 of 4 from the field. Kansas 0 for 3. Randall outside. Passes up the 3-point.
Randall is such a solid player.
Inside of the follow Randall.
There's Randall with the offensive rebound. He's had an unbelievable year. The amazing statistic about Kansas, they don't have a player taking more than 10 shots a game, yet they lead the nation in field goal percentage, and they're #1 in the nation in ranking.
Button puts it on the floor. Nice dish to Smith all alone.
What a great inside play. Button with the head fake, the little dish inside. He comes from great stock. His dad was Bill Button, a great player at Michigan who played with Azzie Russell. Oh, good ball reversal.
Pritchard all the way to the hoop. Gets the easy 2.
Pritchard with the drive to the goal, Ron. He's one of the fierce competitors in college basketball. I put him right in there with Alonzo Mourning and Chris Corchiani as guys that are such fierce competitors and hate to lose.
Missouri has hit the last 3 in a row. This is a reversal of what happened at Columbia. Kansas jumped off to an 11-2 lead in that one.
The two big guys play so well together. Button and Smith. Peeler with the miss. Seems like they're playing very tentative right now. Everybody's feeling one another out. Oh, nice lob. Nice lob. Good execution. Diagonal pass. That's a structured play. That's a called play right over the top of the defense.
Tied at 6, and McIntyre, for some reason, headed on up court and was knocked back to help out of the inbounds play.
McIntyre played at the University of Detroit, then transferred. Not a good shot. That's the kind of shot you don't want. Dribble move, shoot the ball. You have to pass the ball a little bit to break down the defense.
Peeler, nice job defensively. It'll go out of bounds. And there's a timeout on the floor. 15:28 left in this opening half. We are tied.
Hey, how are you? Sorry that I'm not at home. But when I get the message on my telephone, you'll be the first one on my list.
Crazy Calls, a tape of 7 different songs and funny recordings for answering machines.
I am very sorry that I'm not at home to take your call.
Only $14.95.
When I will get right back to you. Leave your message. Leave your message at the tone.
Give someone the gift of gab for their answering machine.
Calling a friend. What you've actually done is bought a one-way ticket to the answering machine zone.
Nobody's home. Nobody's home. I'm glad you called, but I'm not home. But I'll be back before too long. You gotta
Crazy Calls, a tape of 7 different songs and funny recordings for only $14.95.
Wait for the beat. You gotta leave your name. You gotta leave your number.
To order?
Wait for the beat.
Call 1-800-554-9000. Call 1-800-554-9000.
Well, we talk about the great history and tradition of basketball here at Kansas. Dr. James Naismith. Many people don't realize that. And how about FC Fog Allen? Beware of the fog. The sign that sits in the north end of this arena.
This is a great basketball environment. It's unbelievable. The students really get loud. They get excited. The fans are right on top of you. And it's certainly just one great place for college basketball.
Tied at 6. We played just over 4.5 minutes. Number 1 against number 2, according to the Associated Press this week. Geltner for 3, nails it.
He can shoot the three-point shot. He's been on fire this year, Ron. He's been doing an exceptional job. Geltner, an excellent role player.
Peter fouled on the way to the hoop. Geltner will pick it up.
Hey, Peeler's basically unstoppable. Once he gets in transition, he has such explosiveness. When we talk about a great athlete, we talk about somebody that has excellent lateral quickness and great jumping ability. Look at this change of direction. Great crossover. He says, get out of my way, Geltner. You can't check me. I'm explosive. Paseo High School out in Kansas City, where he came from. You know, there was a chance that he would have wore a Kansas uniform had Larry Brown stayed here at Kansas.
Gets the first one to go down. The other interesting thing that the Missouri people said when they arrived late this afternoon is that Peeler actually enjoys playing on the road maybe more than at home because he gets a great joy out of quieting down a home crowd.
I'll tell you, he was very relaxed as they rotated into a trapping defense after the score. He was 20 for 20 on a free throw line, Peeler, against Johnny Orr's Iowa State team, who lost 3 heartbreakers at home to Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma.
Maddox and Jordan into the lineup for Kansas.
Look at that spacing. Then they try to get the ball down to the boxes. They like to exchange inside. A lot of horizontal screens. They pop their big people. Very flexible on offense. They like to, very versatile. They invert their people. Good steal right there by Peeler.
Tried to throw it off his body to get the turnover. And Missouri came back with the turnover. Long bounce pass inside. Button couldn't get the grip on it. Smith, I beg your pardon. And here comes Kansas.
Ricky Callaway with the miss, the former Hoosier. They have 3 guys starting on that lineup that have all wore national championship rings as starters. Gellner, Pritchard, and Callaway.
McIntyre picks up the foul. It will be his first, the team's second.
McIntyre had a big game against Rutgers. He had 25 when they were on the ropes and beat Rutgers 89-84. Rutgers one of the real disappointments this year, along with Wake Forest, Oklahoma State, DePaul. He was so heralded out of Catholic Central High School out of Detroit, Michigan, where he played for Bernie Holowicki, who coached 2 guys that Roy Williams had, a guy by the name of Tom Lagarde and Tom Salagaris, who went from Catholic Central to North Carolina when Roy was an assistant.
You got to look at Freeman West, the 6'5" senior out of East Chicago, Indiana. Just checking into the game, where's number 34 for Kansas.
Watch how they pass and go away from the ball.
Pritchard pulls up from 8, not there, and it's Peter who comes now to the rebound.
This is where Peeler excels usually in transition, and they stripped up. Come on.
Freeman West came away from the basketball.
Anthony, I'm trying to make you a star. You make me look bad. Look at that ball movement. Nothing like ball movement. Great reversal, ball movement, and the Jayhawk fans love it.
Terry Brown, 44% from three-point land, and he puts the Jayhawks up by 4.
He's been struggling lately, but he was recruited as a three-point specialist out of junior college.
Smith inside to Button. Nice look.
What great high-low execution. That's what we call that, the high post, low post entry.
Inside in the muscle, no foul is called. West battles again, and it comes back out to Geltner.
West has really picked up his numbers in the last 10 games.
Brown left alone, tipped inside, and Missouri's Button comes down with it.
Last year, Kansas got out of the gate 13-1, but they didn't have the depth that they have this year. If you have to give a plus and an advantage to Kansas over Missouri, it would be the deeper bench.
Inside, great give, and the easy hoop by Coward.
Little simple give and go, cuts without the ball. The most difficult guy to check in basketball is a guy that moves without the ball.
Missed 3 games earlier this year because of a cracked rib, but now is coming on as Brown again.
They want him to shoot the rock, Ron. He's a downtown shooter. He can certainly shoot the tray. I saw one last night that can shoot it. Kirk Mans of Michigan State.
15-12 as Button takes it in, stripped with the ball by Maddox.
Good play by Maddox. Great look. Great look. Just a tremendous transition layup. And they convert and finalize. They need a basket right now, Norman. Need a basket. They got to get the crowd out of the game. Oh, they could have an offensive foul inside. They missed it, Peeler.
4-3. Too hard off the iron, and here come the Jayhawks again. Missouri with a good job in transition. Owen Brown just left alone. He feeds inside, 1 too many passes.
Bad pass.
And McIntyre will get the free one.
And look at the legs on this guy. McIntyre. Little slam jam bam. Crowd gives a little boo.
Senior out of Detroit.
Ron, the style of play in the Big 8 is something special. Larry Donald wrote about it in Basketball Times. But the coaches, the run, the press, the shoot. The exciting style could be the style of the 90s. In fact, Bobby Knight told me he loved the style of Oklahoma. He told me that last year.
Smith does the turnaround. In and out.
Kansas only allowing one shot. Poor pass, had the open layup right there. Did not convert, did not finalize.
Pritchard can't believe it. He had the open man, but it's a 3-point lead. Just over 11 to play until halftime.
Get ready for a special Sports Illustrated sneak preview.
It's unreal. The man, it's like he's from another planet. When he gets his hand on the ball, you just have to watch.
You never know what he's going to do next. He doesn't even know. He just does it, and you're like, duh.
They just saw an amazing video cassette presented by Sports Illustrated, starring the most exciting figure in sports today. Who else? Jordan.
He's
unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Michael Jordan, come fly with me, 1990, over 40 minutes of the game's ultimate playmaker.
The slam from the free throw line when he goes up in the air and he just hangs there for like a week. I can do that.
Yeah, right.
I can.
Follow his dramatic rise from high school to college, Olympic glory, and on through to the '89 playoffs.
Do it to a mic.
And now you can get the full story behind this superstar on video, free.
Oh, it's free. You're kidding.
We wouldn't kid about Michael. Call this toll-free number now and get your own Jordan video free with your paid subscription to SI.
Yes!
You'll get 26 weeks of SI at incredible savings, over 45% off the cover price.
I didn't realize you could save that much.
Including the blockbuster baseball preview, the giant 35th anniversary covers issue with over 1,700 covers, and the red hot swimsuit issue. If you like last year's issue, wait till you get a peek at the women of the 90s.
I've got dibs on that. Can we get 2 of those, please?
It's all coming your way, along with this one-of-a-kind video, free.
So what's the catch?
No catch. You get it all, including the free video at over 45% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $12.97 each. Even use your credit card.
You got a deal.
Golden. Let's do it.
A deal this good doesn't come around often, so call now. You'll save big and get what's sure to be the hottest video around, free.
I'm going to watch it again, and then again, and again, and again, and again.
All right, let's not get carried away.
Me and Michael, we're very tight. Now, most people don't know this, but I taught him everything he knows. He's getting there.
Get out of here. You're going to be giving away a lot of these babies, starting right here.
In the last time out, Coach Norm Stewart told his club on defense, begin to turn them back to the inside. They're getting to the outside and they're hurting us. Ron, Dick, I think he's got a good point.
Larry, no doubt about it. If you force the play to the middle, you can get help on defense. If you allow it to get to the baseline, they have nobody there to help on defense. Norm Stewart, an outstanding defensive coach, 23 years at the helm, 451 wins, an unbelievable career. He was quite an athlete. You know, he played baseball and basketball and signed a professional contract with the Hawks and the Orioles. We won't talk about what he did with the Orioles in the minor leagues. Quick cup of coffee.
Also very subdued tonight on the bench. That's going to be a foul on the floor. Buckman will not go to the line.
Good call by Hall. A good young official on the game.
First foul on Callaway. Second team foul against the Jayhawks.
You know, Missouri, when you think about it, it's a great story this year, the success they've had. They lost 4 quality players from last year's teams. They lost Byron Irvin. They lost Gary Leonard, Sam Bodie, and Church, 2 complimentary players.
Smith almost is stripped, winds up back with the basketball and knocks it down as he headed for 44 tonight. That's what he had Saturday.
Doug Smith is an electrifying kind of talent. My personal feeling, I don't want to break the hearts of Missouri fans, I believe he will be in the NBA draft. There's been an avalanche in football, and I think he is going to turn to the NBA at the end of his junior year.
Travis Ford picks up his first foul, the freshman out of Madisonville, Kentucky. And boy, the Missouri people have great things to say about this youngster. Very, very poised as a freshman, very mature.
Well, ask Johnny Orr. He hit the big basket to win by a deuce down there at the Hilton Coliseum. He's had an outstanding year for a freshman, Travis Ford.
3 team fouls against Missouri here in the first half as we hit the 10-minute mark.
They really know their options as Terry Brown hits the jumper. They know he's on the floor to shoot the basketball, and Pritchard immediately finds him.
19-16, Jayhawks on top. Smith again, all of a sudden 6 points.
That's what makes him so special, Ron. He's an inside-outside player. He can play on the perimeter as well as down in the trenches, and was not what you would call a McDonald's High School All-American when he came out of the city of Detroit. Look at Randall. They're not even checking him on a wing. They're backing away from him.
Richard pulls up on the penetration, nails it from 12.
They're getting too many easy shots against the Missouri defense. Missouri is backing away, playing very passive, and Kansas is getting the high percentage shot.
Callaway tries to check Peeler all the way down along the baseline and throws it away.
Peeler got himself into no-man land. Kansas did a great job rotating over defensively. The one thing you must do against Anthony Peeler, you must keep him away from transition. He is an explosive transition player with all kinds of slam, jam, bam dunks.
4 turnovers against the Tigers, 6 against the Jayhawks. About to hit the 9-minute mark, 21-18.
See, they're able to start their offense so easy. No denial on the wing, the entry.
Callaway on the hang, kisses it off the glass. Markkanen gets it.
What a find. How good Markkanen. They had no idea he was going to be this good. They checked him out in film. They gave him a scholarship, and what a contributor, especially defensively.
Out of Jyväskylä, Finland.
Where?
Jyväskylä.
Just say Finland.
4-point student also. You don't have to worry about looking at his grades. Turnaround jumper, and it's there.
They get the ball down in deep. Button scores down in the boxes. One of the most improved players in America, Nathan Button. Averaged 4 points a game last year. Now double figures scoring and rebounding.
They're keeping an eye on Callaway. He is 0 of 4, and he is stripped from the basketball this time as he tries to drive. Ford to Coward.
Howard gets the deuce, but what an excellent decision in the penetration, the dribble penetration by Travis Ford. He made the proper decision in releasing the basketball. See, I think they're allowing him to push him in too deep offensively. They're getting the ball in too deep, Ron.
Back to a 3-point game. Randall, 1,000 career points with that hoop. On the other end, not there, and a whistle and foul on the play, and that will go against Doug Smith. His second. Timeout on the floor. 25 Kansas, 22 Missouri.
How do you figure your financial future? How do you get an advantage? Look for an edge. Look for a company that can sharpen your opportunities in mutual funds, pensions, IRAs, employee benefit plans, insurance, and much more. Look for the Principal Edge from the Principal Financial Group, one of America's largest, helping people with the fine points of their financial future. The Principal. Look for the edge.
So your little brother's joining us, huh?
He's not so little anymore.
All right, now let's move it.
He's what, 19?
Weight setting, 540, F-14.
Jeff's landing planes?
4-gear lens set.
No. $40 million jets.
Today's Navy. High-tech training that takes you only one way. Full speed ahead.
Primary's off.
Good job, Dad.
You and the Navy.
Jeff?
See? He's not so little anymore.
Full speed ahead.
Watch Randall right here, how he's going to run what we call a drop step move inside, and they're allowing him to get the ball too deep. Now Randall goes down inside. Now watch the reverse pivot drop step. Oh, what a great move. Freeze that baby. What a perfect clinic. Now he's in too deep. It's automatic, baby. You can't check him if he gets the ball in that low. All created by the drop step of the reverse pivot move. What great execution.
OKU is heated up. And the last 5 minutes, they've had 6 of their last 8 field goal attempts, 25-22.
And I banged you about 3 times with my elbow here as I was talking about that move. You all right?
Any more drop steps than I may not be. Maddox left alone, and he drills it.
Maddox, what a solid contributor off the bench.
He was out late yesterday, shooting after practice. Everybody else had gone to the shower. He was still out looking at the hoop.
Well, what makes the team so special, they have guys that have accepted their roles. You look at Roy Williams, who's done an amazing job in terms of psychologically getting players like the Terry Browns and the Maddox to accept their role of coming off the bench.
McIntyre with the bounce pass. Button thought he was going behind him to Peeler.
Kansas with their help. There's Norm Stewart. An unbelievable story. Had colon cancer, battled that, came back after his February.
Early storyline, Dick, 53% by Mizzou, 10 of 19 for Kansas. Out-rebounding, 14-4. Indeed surprising. And look at three-pointers.
Getting feet on the glass with the great horses they have, it shouldn't happen.
Another note as far as what has happened in the first 13 and a half minutes of this ball game. Bench scoring, Kansas 10 points with Brown 8 off the bench, and Missouri has yet to get a point off the bench.
That doesn't shock me, though, Ron. We talked about the strengths, and one of the strengths when we looked at Roy Williams' team versus Norm Stewart, who we're looking at here, was the advantage of their bench. They're going to go into a 1-3-1 half-court trap right now. And what you want to do is look for the diagonal pass opposite. Great execution.
Button with the deuce.
Didn't bother them at all. Well coached, well drilled. Peeler with the good look. Got the easy layup.
Nick, who was at UNLV very early this year when Kansas used far more zone than they ever do, and Roy found some success with it. He said I almost fell in love with it that time. Went right back to man-to-man.
Well, man-to-man is their basic defense, but they do play multiple sets. They'll utilize the zone occasionally.
Coward for 3. Long Karam comes down to Brown.
Not the kind of shot they want. Nobody inside to rebound, even though Coward's a pretty good shooter. See, they're getting the ball inside too easily.
You're right. Maddox with 2 more.
We're not going to let a team that leads the nation in field goal percentage get the ball that deep, that easily.
Maddox now with 4 points, 2 of 2 from the field.
Richards done a great job of containing Coward, who had 20 against them in the first matchup.
Warren, who was checked into the ball game handles.
Coward must have heard me. He said, wait a minute now. I'm going to shoot the tray, and he hits the big three-pointer.
Warren, another freshman from Missouri. Great-looking youngster, 6'8", out of Litchfield, Michigan.
He's a role player, comes off the bench, gives him some rebounding, plays some defense.
What, he had 9 points and 10 rebounds on Saturday. That's his career best.
Yeah, against Nebraska. I know Coach Danny Nee was really impressed with Smith and Peeler.
Brown. Any further out, he buys a ticket.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's got the area code jump shot, Ron, but they do a great job of reversing the ball and getting it to him. Officials jump right in, stop any kind of contact. Look at Jim Bain talking to Maddox. Maddox saying he gave me the elbow. Roy Williams, one of the things that helped him in his coaching career, at North Carolina they have a JV team, and he coached the JV team, so he was able to make some decisions. Look at the intensity. This guy is supposed to be a quiet guy, a very calm guy. He shows the intensity. Look at Peeler right now. They want the charge. They believe Peeler bumps with the elbow. Look at Jim Bain now having a conversation with Roy. He says, come on now, Roy, calm down. We got a great basketball game. Roy, he talks in such positive ways about his mentor, Michelangelo Dean Smith.
And now Norm Stewart just hopped up and hollered down at Roy Williams with a smile and said, okay.
Kansas breaks down defensively.
On the inbounds pass, sure did.
They get the easy layup.
Brown, McIntyre trying to cover him. Smith with the rebound.
Button wanted the lob. Peeler missed him, had a backdoor cut. Simply means you cut behind the defensive player.
Peeler just inside the three-point line, buries it. That's 8 points for him.
He has really improved his ability to move without the basketball and shoot the perimeter jump shot. He's always been a driving, slashing player.
Maddox for 3, way off. Bad shot selection.
Yeah, not the shot you want out of their offensive set.
1 point game. In fact, the Tigers can take the lead right here. Peeler sends it on the way.
Not a good shot by Anthony Peeler. A little one-on-one. No team concept right there.
Jordan misses. Randall on the follow. He'll go to the line for a couple.
Jordan, a good little passer. Not the guy that you want to shoot the ball, but Randall right there for the offensive rebound from the weak side.
Jeff Warren with his first foul. It's the 5th team foul against the Tigers.
You know, I talked about Norm Stewart a little bit earlier. On February 9th, on a flight to Oklahoma, he had to go back. They thought it was a bleeding ulcer. Eventually, it was colon cancer, and he battled, and it was last year. Now he's cancer-free, and it's an amazing story. Rich Daly took over the team, and now they say he's just in great shape, 54 years of age, and he's had an amazing career. But they have some problems they're faced with. An unbelievable NCAA investigation based on their recruiting of the kids from out of Detroit, Michigan. We got Illinois, Florida, and Missouri waiting to hear from the NCAA what really was found in their investigation.
Randall knocks him down, has a total of 8 points on the night with 4 rebounds. Markkanen, Jordan, Callaway, West, and Jamison. The 5 and the 4 for the Jayhawks. As Jamison just checks in, Missouri breaks the pressure easily.
Those big guys are so versatile. They can handle the basketball. Howard's been a Kansas killer. He beat him at the buzzer twice in his career. Once in the Big 8 tournament as a freshman. There he is from out of Detroit.
Coward, not there.
This little guy knows how to handle the ball, pass the basketball, get it to key people. He picked up his dribble. That's a no-no.
Jamison inside. Callaway can't get it to go.
Kansas does such an excellent job of utilizing the blocks inside. They really exchange, and that's what he's talking about now, Roy. He said, let's exchange along those boxes. We call it horizontal screens when you go across the lane and screen for one another. And get excellent spacing so you can get that 45-degree angle and enter the ball down into the box.
That's the first foul of Lee Coward. 16 foul against Missouri. Callaway averaging 13 points an outing. And that is his first point of the night with 3:31 left until halftime.
Remember, he played a lot of quality basketball in the Indiana program. Played on their national championship team that sent Syracuse home with the Big L when Keith Smart hit that jumper down in New Orleans.
Knocks them both down. 35-31. Number 1 Kansas against number 2 Missouri. We'll be right back.
Jack Patton, publisher of Business Week.
I'm proud that so many leading companies advertise in our pages. American Express, AT&T, General Motors. Business Week ad pages read like a who's who of business. Why? Because successful companies want to reach successful people. Just look at the numbers. I'm just as proud of our readers, too. They help make Business Week the world's #1 business magazine. They know it's
American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Just over 3.5 minutes left until halftime. Kansas 35-31. They stood in line beginning last Wednesday night. That's how important this one was here to the student body. And they have not stopped rocking and rolling this entire first half.
All ages, all sizes, all shapes. Having a great time. We got here like at 4:30 and this place was rocking and rolling at 4:30.
Well, Missouri won the first game played between these two this year, 95-87 up in Columbia.
Changed
now the
defense.
rematch.
Ron, they changed defensively to a 1-3-1 with Callaway playing a point of it.
Great, quick inside pass to Bucky. Can't get it to go, but I think Markkanen picked up the foul, his first.
Twice Kansas has showed the 1-3-1 half-court trap, and on both occasions, Missouri has been ready. Their game plan and their execution for that has been perfect. We show the 1-3-1. Now look at Callaway up on top, trying to invite him in the trapping area. Now that's where you want to get the ball. Down to the wing and down to the baseline because they're susceptible to the layup in the baseline with a 1-3-1.
7 points and 3 rebounds for Bucky tonight.
His dad was a great player, died of a heart attack on the playground. He was a tremendous talent, an All-American, played with Cazzie Russell, coached by Dave Strack at Michigan.
Quick turnaround. West not there. Markkanen battles for the board. Can't get the easy layup. And here comes Missouri. Good job by Kansas in transition, though.
That was an outstanding rebound by Markkanen offensively. And you're right, good defensive transition, getting back to stop the layup. He's out of bounds. He's out of bounds. Turnover.
Let's go to Larry Conley for an update. Larry.
Dick, it was kind of interesting in the last huddle. Roy Williams was not really satisfied by the way they're guarding Anthony Peeler. He said, back off. He's going to drive every time he gets the ball.
I'll tell you one thing. Larry's correct. A lot of guys are not too happy the way they check Anthony Peeler. That guy's explosive. You've got to play him for the drive, but he's improved his jump shot from the perimeter.
West picks up the foul. It's his second. 7th team foul against Missouri.
You know, as Larry said earlier in the locker room, I'll guarantee that Mr. Peeler got about 5 paragraphs of the scouting report that goes on a blackboard by the coach before the game. I just love this kid's ability.
Ford goes out, picking up his second foul, and McIntyre comes back in. And you know, a word on McIntyre is, again, in talking to folks from Missouri, they say They had 4 people that they were sure of, but McIntyre is the guy who may be the 5th piece of the puzzle that really has put them over the top this year.
Well, he's been an excellent role player. Had that big game against Rutgers I talked about, 25 points. As Hall gets a foul called on the interior. On Freeman West, I believe he got it on.
Alonzo Jamison picks up the foul.
Oh, it was Jamison. I'm sorry.
Big 6'5" sophomore out of Santa Ana, California.
He didn't gain his eligibility until a few games ago. Last year he was out academically, and they feel eventually he's going to be a positive force along the baseline. Very strong inside player.
Button. Boy, that's a great assist from the freshman Jeff Warren.
That's tremendous execution. Again, I can't emphasize enough the diagonal pass against the trap. Oh, he loves this. He wants to put showtime right here.
And Missouri takes the lead with 2 minutes left in this first half.
Peeler unstoppable in transition. What an NBA player he is going to be.
Look for Pritchard on the cut. Callaway from 8 feet.
He's having a tough night shooting the ball, Callaway.
McIntyre has to hustle to retrieve it, just pulls up and buries the 3. If he doesn't fumble the ball, he takes it up for 2.
That's what he did on a high school level. He was dynamite. He was a show when he played in high school down at Catholic Central in Detroit.
Missouri by 4. Kansas has missed their last 5 field goals, make it 6. Knocked away on the floor, and the Tigers will maintain possession, and they can take it out to a 6-point ball.
Right now, they should show a lot of poise on offense. I would go down inside to the big fella on the box. Reverse the ball, get him the ball.
Offense, Peeler.
Trying to make something happen that's not there. This year, I've seen that so often with Rodney Monroe at North Carolina State, a multi-talented superstar who tries to make too much happen, and that's what Anthony Peeler did right there, rather than wait for the shot to come to him.
Substitutions as Markkanen, Callaway, and Jamison go out. Maddox comes back into the ball game. Also Mark Randall and number 33, Jeff Geltner, the senior out of Charleston, Illinois. Ron Franklin and Dick Vitale from Lawrence, Kansas. Number 1 against number 2. Hope you're enjoying it just half as much as we are. Randall on the turnaround.
Great 2-man play. Pritchard and Randall. Pritchard, one of the most underrated guards in America, but the NBA scouts like him, and I know one in particular that loves him. His name is Larry Brown down in San Antonio. Don't bet against Larry Brown if this kid is available to be a guard added to their complement of guards down with the Spurs.
Coward gets away from the trap. Shot clock is off.
Good decision right now. Trying to show some poise, come up with a high percentage shot, go in at half with the lead on the road. Keep the crowd a little bit quiet.
Stolen by Pritchard on the floor, and a possession error says it goes to Kansas. So the Jayhawks will have 8 ticks left on the clock.
Talking to the Missouri staff, they felt that Kansas really excels getting after the loose ball. They're very scrappy, and that's one thing they were reminding their players. We're telling them we got to be aggressive, we got to dive for the loose balls. All those little intangibles are the difference in winning the close game when you have pretty evenly matched teams going head-to-head.
Missouri picks him up full court.
Terry Brown, he's got to find Brown for the jumper.
Pritchard not there. With 1 second left and a foul is called.
Pritchard missed Terry Brown. Terry Brown was flaring to the corner, the three-point specialist. I thought he was going to kick it out for the wide-open 3 by Brown. Pritchard's dad, you know what he does? He promotes concerts. He promotes the Judd's Country and Western concerts out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Brown with his second foul, Dick. And you know that Roy Williams with 1 second left. That's the last thing. Instead of winding up with a tie situation, McIntyre goes to the line.
Especially McIntyre has that good rotation, good follow-through. He pumps these down. You go in halftime +4. So often we jinx the kids when we talk about how good they are in the line.
So it is halftime here in Lawrence, Kansas. Roy Williams still talking to Jim Bain, saying, I think he got Mr. Pritchard on the arm as he took it to the hoop. And Jim's just standing there saying, it's halftime, Coach. And Missouri on top 39-37. Any surprises?
Well, not really. I think it's exactly the way I expected. Feeling each other out in the first half. The athletic ability showed what we talked about with Missouri, Kansas with their passing game, their high percentage offense. I'll tell you, I'm not shocked at all. 2-point lead for Missouri, number 1 against number 2. Can we ask for anything more?
I don't think so. And the last time they met in Columbia, it was Kansas leading by 4 at halftime. So, with a 2-point ball game, number 1 against number 2. John Saunders, nobody has been disappointed. We're going to catch our breath. Let's go back to you for a bit.
Okay, Ron and Dick, 39-37, absolutely right. No disappointment here as it is. Number 2 on top against number 1 in this one. Kansas, Roy Williams is also looking for his first win ever over Missouri. He's lost all 3 meetings. Let's check the scoreboard. Number 3 in action as well. Georgetown is down by 8 to Providence. The Friars do give the Hoyas a tough time. Hoyas on a 4-game winning streak. Connecticut ranked number 10. They're at Pitt. Pitt has won the last 5 meetings in Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, and it's a 3-point game. UConn jumped in top of this one 6-0 early. Florida State and Memphis State in the Metro Conference all tied up in the first half. William and Mary and Wake Forest. Wake Forest and the Demon Deacs with a 15-point lead at halftime. Indiana State down to Butler 36-24. This one at halftime. Vermont leads Dartmouth in the Big Green 48-37 at halftime. And in the Metro Atlantic, Army down to Fordham at halftime by 10. It's 40-30. One other note, for the second straight day, Arkansas State basketball team has boycotted practice. 13 of the 15 players did not show up for the second straight day, and they were told by athletic director Charlie Thornton that Nelson Catalina would remain as coach. If they did not show up for practice tomorrow, they would all be dropped from the team. Catalina has coached ASU for 6 years. The players had complained that it was just not fun playing basketball anymore. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll take a look at the outstanding sophomore of the Missouri Tigers after we're talking about Anthony Peeler. It's a 2-point game, 39-37 at the half.
Back in a sec, okay?
Who on earth can resist the abundance of a Pizza Hut pan pizza? All those toppings, that deep, chewy crust, 2 layers of cheese. Who can resist a Pizza Hut pan pizza? So far, nobody.
Built for the human race by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Apple Computer, the power to be your best.
Number 2, the Missouri Tigers leading number 1 Kansas in the Jayhawks by 2 at halftime. Second half still to come of a great game. Missouri's success this year can be traced to Norm Stewart's outstanding coaching style as well as his great recruiting job he does as they attempt to retake number 1 from the Kansas Jayhawks. Much of the credit can go thanks to the winning an earlier recruiting battle. This one was for Anthony Peeler. Chris Fowler has the story.
The high school class of '88, the most talented in 10 years, a group destined for greatness. Mourning, Owens, Jackson, Kemp, Roberts, McLean, and joining them at the Dapper Dan All-Star Game, a relatively unheralded guard from Kansas City named Anthony Peeler with something to prove.
I really feel like I wasn't really a part of the team when I first got there. It was really, all the media was on the East guys, there's the Mornings and the Owens, so when they called my name out for the Dapper Dan game, Anthony Peeler to Missouri, the crowd didn't even really know where Missouri was, so I really feel like I had to come out and play hard.
And he did, scoring 19 points, including 6 dunks as MVP of the West team. It gave him confidence he could play with anyone as he headed for Columbia. Peeler was a huge recruit for Missouri for 2 reasons. One, because his second choice was arch-rival Kansas. He said no thanks to the Jayhawks because he wasn't sure how long Larry Brown was going to stick around. And 2, because Missouri teams in recent years had been built around out-of-state recruits, and Peeler's signing signaled a rebirth of in-state recruiting for the Tigers.
The other player wants to play with Anthony, and he wants to be able to get the same kind of I guess, glory back in Kansas City that Anthony's had. But not only has Anthony helped us in Kansas City, but all over the state. You know, he's just a state hero, not just a hero for Kansas City.
As a sophomore, Peeler has become the star of a team stocked with talent. He's a walking highlight reel whose airborne antics sometimes compare with Michael Jordan. And since he's learned to play under more control, Peeler's earned a leadership role among players a couple years older.
Without a doubt, I have confidence in him,
And the crucial now, we've been going to him down the stretch, and he's been taking it on his own and going to the bucket on his own, and that's one of the things that, you know, get us out of big games.
He has the potential to be up there with Danny Manning, Derek Chivas, and Wayman Tisdale. Those are the three names you think about when you think about the Big 8 Conference.
Peeler would also like to be mentioned with Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders as two sports stars. He's a gifted pitcher, a lefty with 90-mile-per-hour heat, who says he likes baseball more than hoops, even though he hasn't played since American Legion ball.
One day I went down from high school and met the Texas Rangers coach and just pitched one day for him, and they drafted me like in the 9th round. And it really made me think a lot.
Peeler vows he'll give college baseball a try before leaving MU. But it's basketball that he wants to make his career, and he's already looking ahead.
Me and the guys talk about it a lot, talking about the NBA, and when we see guys in the NBA like the Trent Tuckers and all the guys with the 11 years and 9 years, Lee and myself be talking about it's really our turn to be up there in the league, but really we just really worry about college right now, but it's always lingering over our head.
Anthony Peeler averages close to 19 points a game as a sophomore. In the first half of this game, he has 10 points, second leading scorer on Missouri, and his Tigers are up by 2 over the #1 team in the nation, the Kansas Jayhawks. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll update some more scores. Keep it right here.
Institutional clients.
Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. Let's take a look at the stats very quickly before we begin the second half. 60% by Missouri in the first half.
Well, remember, Kansas leads the nation in field goal percentage, only shooting 44%. They dominated the glass. They also out-rebounded Missouri 41-35 in the first meeting, yet they were beaten down at Missouri.
Bench production, 15 points, 6 rebounds by Kansas.
And a big first half out of Terry Brown off the bench. Double figures, scores 11 points. Missouri going to try to get the ball down into the post, people. They should run their high-low entry a lot more. Very difficult to defend that with Button and Smith.
Peter on the cut, kisses it off the glass, and he starts off the second half the same way he played in the first half.
He loves to slash. He spots an opening into the defense, any kind of gap. He has great slashing ability.
Geltner outside, wanted the pass inside to Randall.
There's that ball reversal we talked about, swinging the ball side to side.
Markkanen blocked his own shot with the rim. It'll stay with the Jayhawks.
Very difficult to scout and defend Kansas because they can hurt you in so many ways. It's not like trying to defend a big-time scorer. They have so much balance that so many people can hurt you, and that makes it very difficult in scouting.
It's actually easier to defense a team that has the big score.
Yeah, you can play some special defense. Hey, Ricky Callaway.
That's key. Callaway opens it up for the Jayhawks in the second half with the Deuce. 2-on-2, Callaway. Randall on the follow.
Tremendous play with Randall with the offensive rebound. Awesome, baby. Mark Randall. Denver, Colorado.
For a bit, Missouri had gotten the crowd out of the ball game, and right now they got to contend with it.
Not right now, baby. This place will blow open if he hits a deuce here.
Callaway not there. Randall on the follow. Markkanen.
What tenacity inside, but they come up empty. 4 attempts on a glass. McIntyre flared. He ran a flare move. He ran to the three-point line. Peeler fouled him.
Randall hard to the hoop. Boy, they're letting him play. Markkanen throws it away. Tiger basketball.
A little bit sloppy right there offensively in execution. Mark Randall has been such a player this year. Callaway's going to shoot the little J. Randall's going to come and finalize. There's the offensive rebound. Kansas City was a tremendous player out of high school. Played for Matt Calvin. Remember little Matt Calvin? He coached him at Cherry Creek High School out in Englewood, Colorado. Matt now doing an outstanding job with the Milwaukee Bucks as an assistant coach. And I hear that Mac might be interested in a college job. And I'll tell you one thing, if I were an athletic director, I would go after him. Look at Norm Stewart doing some coaching on the sideline.
There's David Doug Smith, who's getting a break, and freshman Jeff Warren has come back into the lineup for Missouri.
They've really controlled it. Played 13 minutes in the first half, only had 6 points.
McIntyre out of control, and it cost him a turnover. Pritchard misses on the jumper.
What a great play. Great hands. What a play Pritchard just made. Acrobatic.
Pritchard wanted the three, but after he missed the jumper to get back down the floor, super job of defense in transition.
He looked like Ronnie Lott. Great defensive back. Unbelievable. You better give him a call, George Seifert.
Markkanen. McIntyre picks up the foul, his second.
They have so many traits of North Carolina and Kansas. They're always complimenting each other, always giving each other a point when they're, in other words, they point to each other and acknowledge the great assist.
Smith back in, and now Bunton gets a breather. Ford checks into the lineup, and Coward will go out.
Bunton, his numbers drop each year. Started out as a freshman, 11 a game, then 9, then 4 last year. This year up to 15 a game and 11 rebounds a game.
Pritchard blocked in the middle by Smith. Markkanen takes it back up, and Warren has picked up the foul, his second.
Warren grabs him on the hand. Markkanen certainly doesn't look pretty at what he does, but he's such an outstanding defensive player.
That's right, they don't have him in there for his offensive abilities. It's what he can do on the board and defense.
He's a defensive player. Look at the rebounding totals, 2-1 on a glass, 12-0. Not one offensive rebound by Missouri, and that would scare me if I were Norm Stewart, because usually when you're not playing on the offensive glass, it means that you're not playing aggressive enough to the basketball.
Well, the other thing in their defense, though, they have shot such a high percentage in the first half of the ballgame at 60%. They haven't had the offensive board as much.
That's an excellent point. Shot 60%, you're right, really have done a fine job shooting the basketball. But I'll tell you, when you talk about aggressive basketball, it usually starts with offensive rebounding, forcing turnovers, blocking shots.
Markkanen misses them both. McIntyre deep in the corner, moves out behind the three-point line in Kansas.
What an intelligent play. He knew ahead of time that he was going to find the three-point line rather than shoot the 17-footer for a deuce. He backs up a little bit and he drills it. NBN, nothing but nylon. Oh, they missed Markkanen. He was wide open.
McIntyre has just picked up the foul. Now that's his third.
Third foul on McIntyre, but I'll tell you one thing. It was respect for Terry Brown's ability to shoot the long-range jumper. Their perimeter defense has really improved here in the second half, Missouri.
Markkanen goes out. Maddox will come in for Kansas.
That's just beautiful college basketball. The environment, the atmosphere, what's at stake, the emotion, the intensity. Remember, it's not only the Big Eight, it's not only for number one. This could ultimately mean something in the seeding process for the NCAA. These clubs could be a number one seed.
Pritchard has the ball taken away
by
Taylor.
Give it up and get it back.
Ford.
What a nice play. Could have given it up a little bit earlier and got it back for the slam jam, Peeler.
Biggest lead of the night. 8 points by Missouri.
I like Travis Ford.
Only a freshman. McIntyre picks his pocket. Brown loses it. Peeler goes back to McIntyre. Air ball. But Peeler is there on the follow, and he's called for the push.
Peeler gets down for the push. He says to the official, nice call, Mr. Friend. Mr. Friend, by the way, worked the first game. Look at Norm Stewart cheering. What an amazing story. The colon cancer last February. Battles back. And here he is having his team 22-2.
Coming down the floor, Ford, only a freshman, is walking around to the upperclassmen with his palms down, saying, calm down, calm it down.
Well, he's a pure point guard. He's a leader. I think it's so essential to have that kind of player on your team to be a big-time winner.
McIntyre may have gotten away with one there as he went all the way behind Brown.
You take a Travis Ford and you put him with that Syracuse team, and they would be unbeatable.
Brown.
Not a good three.
What
an offensive rebound. Hey, General, you'd be happy with that one, Bobby Knight. Then again, you wouldn't. Unbelievable. What an offensive rebound, the former Hoosier.
49-43.
Don't go away, people. This is going to go down to the finish.
Peeler with the left-handed dribble, backs it over Callaway, kisses it off the glass.
Hey, we're seeing a young mini version of a left-handed Michael Jordan. Take that to the bank. In 2 years, this kid's going to be awesome.
Maddox misses Randall on the follow.
Randall. Great offensive rebound. Nobody blocks out. I see a lot of similarities in Peeler's game. Hey, I'm not putting him there with Jordan. Get me right. I mean, unbelievable, but he has a lot of similarities.
Smith misses on the short jumper, and a whistle and a foul against Warren.
Smith's got to be a little bit more aggressive to the basketball, Ron. He's got to get a wake-up call and really want the ball.
3 fouls against Warren. Timeout on the floor. Missouri leading by 6.
If you like sports, you can win $100 right now in your home. Just go to the phone and dial this number, Kelly's Phone Quiz. Use your push buttons to answer 9 sports trivia questions, and we'll pay you $100. Simple to do and a lot of fun. You can even select your favorite sports category.
Call now. Answer 9 questions correctly with your push-button phone and win $100. 1-900-246-KELLY. $1.50 first minute, 75 cents additional minute.
Call now and let your fingers win you $100.
Every cell in the human brain has a purpose. Some control body functions. Others control thinking and feeling. Still others regulate memory. All are vulnerable to the effects of marijuana. So, how stupid do you have to be to keep smoking it?
Has this ever happened to you? What a mess. This shirt and blouse have had it. Or have they? Now there's a simple way to deal with the most difficult stains. DD7, a super concentrated formula that removes stains but won't harm fabrics. Now where's the ink? Delicate silk? Incredibly clean. Tar, iodine, blood, rust. DD7 gets rid of them all. Dull gray window shears restored to like-new whiteness thanks to a soak in DD7. Imagine this is your washing machine. Dye from a red sock, ink, iodine, a little DD7, and goodbye to unwanted stains. Order DD7 today for just $14.95, or we'll double your order for only $5 more. That's 2 tubes for only $19.95. Have your credit card ready and order now.
Use your credit card and call toll-free 1-800-554-9000, or send $14.95 or 2 for $19.95, plus $4 shipping to DD7, Box 121, Plainville, Connecticut.
Nick, Ron, I found out why Doug Smith was sitting out all that time. He had some breakdowns on defense. Norm Stewart said if you can't play defense, you cannot play this basketball game. Kind of nice to see the guy instructing that discipline on defense.
I really think that's so important. Larry makes a great point. If you can't play on a defensive end and stop people, and he sends a message loud and clear to his star. And when you do it with your star, it's a wake-up call to the rest of the team. I thought Steve Fisher should have done something like that with Ramil Robinson in the last game I had. He started hot-dogging down the end, and I thought he should have taken him out and said, look, Ramil, you do it our way, play with some discipline, or you don't play, because ultimately it comes to hurt you. Congratulations, Norm Stewart, a veteran KG coach.
6 points for Smith in the ball game as he rests across the way. Kansas breaks the pressure and needing points right here. They can't just go basket for basket with Missouri as the ball is tipped away, and it's going to stay with Kansas. Warren went diving and grabbed across the arm to knock the pass out.
Kevin Pritchard really, he absolutely telegraphed that pass. Pritchard's got to shoot the ball a little bit better from the perimeter, too. He's got to think a little bit more of shooting his jump shot. He's normally a very good shooter.
West back in the ball game. Maddox on the reverse.
That's just tremendous execution. Two-man basketball, inside-outside play. They go to the inside player from the perimeter. Great execution. Hey, they rotate in the zone. First time tonight. Third defense they've shown. Half-court trap, man-to-man, and now the zone.
Inside, can't get it. Maddox whistle for the violation. First foul on him. Big Nathan Button will go to the line. 6'9" senior out of Detroit. As you look at Maddox, junior out of Oklahoma City.
Button, a product of the Detroit Public School Leagues. They've produced so many great players. You take a look right now, Derek Coleman, who could be and should be right now the #1 senior in terms of the NBA draft. He's from out of Detroit as well. Terry Mills is from out of the suburbs in Romulus, Michigan. Really has improved his stock tremendously with the Wolverines. I think Button has really concentrated a lot more this year, and that's why he's had the improved play. He's really been a quality performer all year.
11 points for him in the ball game. 53-47. Missouri maintaining that 6-point lead, and Ford called for the violation with that forearm at his back, and that's 3 fouls on him.
Kansas really not shooting the basketball like they've done all year. When you think about their execution, leading the nation 53.6, only 25% on their own living room floor. You know, there's one thing I would try to do against Kansas in trying to stop that game, that motion passing game. Stop ball reversal. You can't let them swing the ball side to side.
Pritchard, unlucky bounce, and Maddox over the back with the call.
No doubt about it. Maddox definitely over the top. Excellent call. We're having a well-officiated game. The officials are doing a good job.
Second foul on him.
Jim Bain, he's blown the whistle a few times in his life.
Team fouls 2 against the Jayhawks in the second half, 6 against Missouri. But it's the Tigers leading by 6, and they can extend it to 8 right here.
One-on-one, you're not going to stop this kid. You got to get a lot of help. You got to have a man and a half play here.
Peeler gets away possibly with an offensive foul and a whistle called against the Jayhawks inside.
I watched Peeler in the Olympic Festival on ESPN, and he didn't really play well. He didn't move without the basketball. In fact, Judd Heathcote said he has to learn the art of moving without the ball. Now look at him right here. Hey, Judd Heathcote, you'd love to have this guy in your lineup. There he goes in the triple threat position, little one-on-one move, change of direction. Very difficult to play in a man-to-man set. You talk about an outstanding team and a surprise. Michigan State, what a job Heathcote's done, and what a backcourt with Mans and Steve Smith.
15 points now for Peeler.
You gotta like him, Ron. You like the athletic ability of this guy?
For sure. You know, and Steve Smith, I was anxious to see him last night as I watched your ball game. Michigan State, everybody I talked to said, sleeper. They're not a sleeper anymore because too many folks know about it.
They changed their goal. Their goal was to get in the NCAA tournament. Now they changed it 2 days ago. It's to win the Big Ten championship.
8-point ball game. Missouri on top.
See, you can't let them swing it side to side.
McIntyre comes away with a steal. Callaway works against Cam, and he sends him into the standard. Missouri coaching staff up, and they want an intentional foul.
Yeah, look at Norm Stewart. He's begging and pleading and crying. Come on, give me the intentional. Come on, Norm, one more time. Show him you want the intentional. Come on, Norman. He used to be a pitcher, signed with the Orioles, went to Aberdeen. I won't tell him what his record was. He got finally released, played a little bit in the NBA, then got into coaching, and what a job he did at North Iowa.
McIntyre has 13 points in the ball game. And the one thing that Roy Williams said yesterday, we got to play with more poise than we did the last time down at Columbia. And right now, Kansas has, for the moment, lost their poise a bit.
They really have. They're not playing the kind of offensive basketball they played earlier this year. And look at the crowd. The Rock Chalk Jayhawkers got silent here.
Well, it's about to be a 10-point ball game. I think they're also bothered a little bit for the fact that Missouri is playing extremely physical inside, and they're not getting that many calls from the officials inside.
They're letting him play. You're right. They're letting him play. What a career. I was looking at the numbers of Norm Stewart, the numbers he had at Northern Iowa, then at Missouri for 23 years. See, right now they're denying playing the passing lanes, making it tough for Kansas just to swing the ball back. See, there's the inside-outside action. He's got to drill the jumper.
Richard.
They need that scoring out of him.
6 points for him now.
They need a big stop here defensively. You know what's amazing? They're doing it without Doug Smith.
Kansas basketball.
There's Doug Smith sitting on a pine.
Jim Bain says the ball was touched. That Coward did not throw it out of bounds as Ford checks back into the lineup.
I think the key in having an outstanding basketball team, not only does it take personnel, not only does it take shooting the basketball, but you must have discipline. And that's what he's done here tonight. He's showing Doug Smith, one, I'm in charge, I'm in command, and you have to do it my way. Play on both ends of the floor.
Gelder comes away with it, off to Pritchard.
He can shoot the three.
Way over.
And
Just to touch anything.
And his statistics are amazing if you see his stats all year. He's a better than 50% shooter from three-point range.
He could have knocked it back to a 5-point ball game. McIntyre, he'll go for three. Warren on the follow, reverses to turn around and gets it.
What a contributor. Warren's doing a solid job defensively. Doesn't have anywhere near the talent of Doug Smith, but is he working defensively?
Maddox gets the friendly bounce.
Maddox gets the home court bounce. Nice little soft touch. Good rotation. Travis Ford, he doesn't hurt him at all at that point guard slot.
8-point game. We're about to hit the 11-minute mark. Peeler, left-handed, knocks it down from behind the glass. And Warren in transition doing a good job of getting back to knock it away. Take a timeout. 11:02 left in the ball game. It is number 2 Missouri 61, number 1 Kansas 51.
Veterans Life Insurance Company proudly announces the highest benefits ever offered in our history at new, lower rates for former military personnel.
Hi, I'm Roger Staubach for Veterans Life. You know, there's a reason some insurance rates are so high. With auto insurance, you often end up paying for the mistakes of other drivers. And it's just about the same with life insurance. With most plans, you end up paying for the poor health of other people, regardless of your own personal health. Veterans Life believes you deserve better. That's why veterans and their spouses aged 60 and under can now get in on the lowest term life insurance rates we've ever offered based on your own individual health. And all you have to do is take a simple paramedic exam with a certified healthcare professional at the time and place you choose, even in your own home. We'll also send you the results of your cholesterol test, plus tips on ways to keep your good health. Call this toll-free number now to see how you can protect your family with $50, $100, up to $200,000 of pure term life insurance, recommended by financial experts as providing the most protection for your money. And the rates are up to hundreds of dollars less than any rates ever offered on term insurance by Veterans Life, the only company that serves veterans exclusively. So call now for this free information. Whether you've served during wartime or peacetime, there's never been a better time to get the big benefit insurance you need at the new lower rates you deserve. Call now.
Veterans age 18 to 59. If you served during wartime or peacetime, active or reserves, or are the spouse of a veteran, call toll-free 1-800-535-1700. We'll rush you free information on this new Veterans Life plan with higher benefits and new lower rates. That's 1-800-535-1700. 1-800-535-1700.
You know, it's really interesting, the Kansas huddle right here. When Jeff Gellner sat down, immediately Roy Williams went right to him and said, get your head up. Forget about it. The shot's over with. Keep playing. He says, you guys don't look down. We don't want to leave anything on this floor. You go back in that locker room and leave it out here.
Larry, I'll tell you what, he talks about Jeff Gellner. He throws up an air ball. He gets a little down. He's shooting 51 for 100 from three-point range for the season.
Well, look at the shooting percentage. First half and second half, Kansas leading the nation in percentage scoring. You can believe it, drop it off in the second half.
Well, Missouri, in their loss to Lonnie Kruger's Kansas State team, they shot 29%.
Brown in the corner. Magic did not work here in the second half on his first attempt.
You would think those numbers would be reversed here in this living room of the Jayhawks.
McIntyre going to take it back out on top.
They're playing with a lot more poise also than they did against Kansas State. They went down here. They put Kansas State losing 3 in a row. They won that game, took some bad shots. A lot of Kruger's teams played a tough game.
Peeler Whistle inside, and McIntyre has just picked up his 4th foul. Now, that's huge as far as the Tigers are concerned.
Well, it hurts because he gives them a 3-point shooter. It's a 1-on-1 right now, so to go up to the other end and shoot, McIntyre has been a major factor in this game. He's hit some big threes.
Ron Franklin and Dick Vitale. Lawrence, Kansas, Allen Fieldhouse. Tonight, the Jayhawks, and they got a little hill to climb right now, but they got plenty of time to do it with 10:18 left on the clock. Missouri 61-51.
And Doug Smith comes back on the floor. He's got to be fresh right now, and he's had to receive the message. It's worked perfectly for a coach. You take your star out, and you go up like 10 without him. Now you bring him back on the floor.
12 points for Brown.
He's had a much more consistent year this year, Doug Smith, than he's had in the past. He's always had flashes of brilliance.
Off to make. Kansas puts the pressure on, and a poor job by Kansas and a great job by Missouri.
Unbelievable. Montana to Rice. Count the deuce, baby.
Smith and Button on the double team, and it's back to a 10-point game.
That's a no-no defensively. Good execution there by Randall. They can get the ball at him all night. They're not denying him. He's going to get Smith out of the game again. I really believe that. He didn't check him at all.
Peeler has it taken away. On the floor, Coward comes back with it. Ford will retrieve it in the backcourt, and of course it is not over and back because of the touch.
You know, you got to be able to deny the ball inside. Oh, nice look, except a good defensive play by Maddox. Good awareness. He was open for a moment.
Maddox.
I'll tell you what, you can smell a run coming. You know this baby's not over. You know this team is too tough. You know this team has too much talent. And here comes the Rock Chalk Jayhawkers.
6-point ball game, 9 minutes, 15 seconds left to play.
Randall really denying the ball to Smith. Smith's got to flash to the ball quicker. Seems a step slow coming to the ball.
And he throws it away.
Not really into the game. Going to take Button out, give Button a little rest.
Warren will come back in. Warren, Peeler, Ford, Howard, and Smith. The 5 on the floor for the Tigers.
And Doug walking up the floor. He's pouting a little bit. He's got to forget about it and just come out to play. They're going to need the big fella down the stretch.
KU scores here. It'll erupt.
There it is.
Maddox
getting too much inside. I don't want to harp on it, but since Smith came on the floor, they're able to execute on the baseline.
Bounce inside, stolen by Kansas.
They score here. He better get a TO, baby.
4-point game. It can be 2. McIntyre quickly off the bench, prepares to check back in.
Randall, little layup. There it is. Watch it. They want the basket. They want the basket. Even Norm says, no way. He definitely bumped
something like that is what he was saying.
Kansas really taking command right now.
That's 4 fouls on Warren. 1-and-1 situation. Randall to the line. Coward comes out. Chess match continues, and now Brown will sit down.
What enthusiasm here. What an unbelievable environment. This is incredible. If you love college basketball, you have to absolutely be on cloud 9 watching this game and be a part of it.
Now Warren comes out, just having picked up that 4th foul. And Nathan Button will come off the bench and replace him. Boy, the KU free throw shooting.
That's been a
Markkanen missed both of his a while ago. Now Randall. And in a ball game like this, where they could have cut it to 2 right now, he can take it to 3.
That's been a problem basically all year, shooting 67% as a
He sees them both.
I'm up empty.
Crowd trying to get back in it.
They would have had really big momentum right there. You can't hand check them.
Knocked out of bounds. Peter had to yank his hand away as Jamison had hit it so that he wouldn't be the last touch.
Ron, you can't hand check the player. Jordan's been hand checking Travis Ford. Hand checking means put a hand on him. You're not allowed to do that as he's bringing a basketball. You can't impede his progress with the ball.
It's Adonis Jordan, the freshman who picks up the foul. It's his first, the 15th foul against the Jayhawks.
Jordan, a legitimate point guard, not a shooter, plays pressure on the basketball, one of the elements of their defense. Pressure the ball, deny, beat the man to the ball, and block out. Foul on Jordan again.
Second foul in 10 seconds on him. Timeout on the floor. 7:59 left in the ball game. It is Missouri 63, Kansas 59. 63-59 Missouri with just under 8 minutes to play in the ball game. And the storyline in this one so far, 57% Missouri. Peter with 18. Kansas only 5 of 11 at the line. Bench outscoring 25-4, but that's still not the difference. Here's another number for you. The big guns for KU. Callaway 2 of 9, 6 points. Pritchard 3 of 9 for 6 points.
And there's Callaway sitting on the sideline. Kansas, though, has picked it up a notch offensively in the last 3 minutes. Their execution has been much better. They've gotten the ball in deep, and their percentage has gone up from in the 30s to the 45% mark.
He stepped on the midcourt line. That was an over and back, and the official missed it.
Here's their pressure defense. Pressure the ball, deny inside, beat the cutter to the ball like Randall's doing right now.
Air ball. Maddox got a piece of it. His Bunton shot the jumper, and let's go to Larry Conley. Larry.
Dick, Roy Williams in the last huddle told his guards to extend their defense. He wants pressure this last 8 minutes. He wants them to come out and get Missouri as hard as they can.
Larry, that's what we just were talking about. They are putting pressure on the basketball. They have extended. They're not allowing them to back it up. And the reason is Jordan. There he is right there. Does a good job defensively. Good call, Larry. Look at Randall sitting in deep. They can get the ball to Randall. They swing the ball, they can get it to Randall.
Jamison muscles his way in. He'll go to the line for a couple.
He's a big horse, Jamison. I'll tell you one thing, Roy Williams is not afraid to go to his bench. He doesn't have a player averaging 30 minutes per game. They have such great team balance.
Well, there are the starters for the Kansas Jayhawks sitting over on the bench. Pritchard out on the floor, Randall on the floor, but everybody else is a substitute.
Jamison converts on a free throw line. Big wide body.
First point for him.
Remember, he was academically ineligible for most of the season. This game is eligible in the second semester.
This is the second one, so 6 of 13 for Kansas from the line tonight.
And they shot like that earlier in the season as well. I remember them against LSU. They shot tremendously from the field.
5 unanswered points by the Jayhawks in this run.
Kansas really picking it up on a defensive end.
Knocked away inside.
They are scrapping and hustling and helping out defensively. It's so important defensively when you play man-to-man is to provide some help. Now here's the pressure to the ball. Now look at the help inside. All helping. There's the help. The rotation over. Excellent job, team defense.
Norm Storage wants a timeout. 63-60, Missouri with 7:02 left.
Get ready for a special Sports Illustrated sneak preview.
He's unreal. The man, it's like he's from another planet. When he gets his hand on the ball, you just have to watch.
You never know what he's going to do next. He doesn't even know. He just does it, and you're like, duh. They just saw an amazing video cassette presented by Sports Illustrated, starring the most exciting figure in sports today. Who else? Jordan.
He's
unbelievable.
Yeah. He's unbelievable.
Michael Jordan, come fly with me, 1990, over 40 minutes of the game's ultimate playmaker. The slam from the free throw line when he goes up in the air and he just hangs there for like a week. I can do that.
Yeah, right.
I can. Follow his dramatic rise from high school to college, Olympic glory, and on through to the '89 playoffs.
Do it to a mic.
And now you can get the full story behind this superstar on video, free.
Oh, it's free. You're kidding.
We wouldn't kid about Michael. Call this toll-free number now and get your own Jordan video free with your paid subscription to SI.
Yes!
You'll get 26 weeks of SI at incredible savings, over 45% off the cover price.
I didn't realize you could save that much.
Including the blockbuster baseball preview, the giant 35th anniversary covers issue with over 1,700 covers, and the red hot swimsuit issue. If you like last year's issue, wait till you get a peek at the women of the 90s.
I've got dibs on that. Can we get 2 of those, please?
It's all coming your way, along with this one-of-a-kind video, free.
So what's the catch?
No catch. You get it all, including the free video at over 45% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $12.97 each. Even use your credit card.
You got a deal. Golden. Let's do it.
A deal this good doesn't come around often, so call now. You'll save big and get what's sure to be the hottest video around, free.
I'm going to watch it again, and then again, and again, and again, and again.
All right, let's not get carried away.
Me and Michael, we're very tight. Now, most people don't know this, but I taught him everything he knows. He's getting there.
Get out of here. You're going to be giving away a lot of these babies, starting right here.
63-60 Missouri. 7:02 left to play, and let's take a look at the schedule. Kansas first, what they have remaining. Nebraska, then at Colorado. They go to Oklahoma on the 27th. In fact, we'll be there 2 weeks from tonight. Iowa State, and then the Big 8 tournament.
Well, at Oklahoma is certainly going to be a real tough one. You look at Missouri, they have at Oklahoma and Oklahoma at home. That's going to be tough. You talk about a guy that's done a job. What about Billy Tubbs? Losing Mookie Blaylock, losing Stacey King, and yet they're still in the hunt.
McIntyre for 3 off balance, tipped out front. And what was that Norm Stewart said about the team that rebounds with 2 hands in the second half? You can't tap it around.
Well, you got to go after the ball aggressively with 2 hands. And there's a look at Norm Stewart, who was an outstanding player and a captain and a Big 8 star when he played for Missouri. You know, they're beating right now. Kansas is beating Missouri to the loose ball. And that's what they talked to me about yesterday when I spoke to him on the phone from out of Iowa City. To Bob Sundvold, the assistant coach, he said, we're concerned about the aggressiveness and the loose ball.
And what Roy Williams told me late yesterday afternoon, the thing that just really concerns him about Missouri is the great, great athleticism.
They have great athletes, there's no doubt about it. You look at the free throw shooting. Second half, a disaster.
Boy, it continues.
Brick City, USA.
And Randall picks up the foul on the inside. That's his first. 16 fouls against the Jayhawks.
Missouri's got a big date with Oklahoma coming up this weekend, and it's at Missouri.
Beg your pardon, that was the 7th. 1-1 situation. Missouri, should Smith score right here, it will be the first points that they would have picked up in the last 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Well, this guy got 44 points and dominated and had everybody drooling in his last performance. Today in the second half, he's been a mystery man. He's been away. He's been away without anybody giving him permission to be away. He hasn't been part of the party.
That's his first point of the second half. Total of 7 on the ball game.
Marcus Liberty did the same thing with Illinois against Michigan. Had a big game against Minnesota, 33, and then he disappeared.
6.5 minutes to play. Number 1 against number 2, according to the Associated Press this week.
The way they're playing defense right now, they could have got a better shot by going to the interior than Pritchard just had. They're extending defensively. There's the deflection. They got to make something happen.
Randall pulls it back outside.
Wide
Cross court. Callaway all alone.
Wide open. Good screen by Maddox inside. Callaway with the 15-foot jump shot.
8 points for Callaway now. A 2-point ball game.
Number 1 against number 2.
And Randall with the steal.
It's all defense, baby. They are tightening up defensively.
Big trip right here.
See, right now in their passing game, they should slide Randall to the inside. Post them with the reverse move on the box. A lot of patience right now. Usually if you make 4 or 5 passes, you'll break a defense down.
Callaway.
He feels it right now. Good high percentage wing jump shot.
Tied at 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'd get a TO, baby. Get a timeout, Norman.
This is an 11-1 run by the Kansas Jayhawks. 5:22 left of the game.
Woo. We're going to see Randall clear this side out, and you're going to see Right here, Callaway rotating and getting a one-on-one move and spin to the lane for the jump shot. Watch right now. He'll clear out the side. See how right now Randall clears it out, and there's the one-on-one move and the little J by Ricky Callaway, the former Hoosier.
64 all, 5:22 left in the ballgame.
It's a myth if you believe Kansas doesn't have players, because they have balance, they have depth, and they have experience. And it's winning experience, championship experience with Callaway, Gellner, and also Pritchard. Are they playing defense? They have really picked it up on a defensive end.
Jump shot, not there. Tip inside and the follow.
Anthony Peeler,
who has been silent for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
They've really controlled him, but he comes up with a big basket. That's why he's a special player. See, they're really swinging the ball a lot better now in their offense. Now watch, they'll swing it side to side. There it is, now he'll go away. Now swing it side to side. They like to go to the wings. Now Pritchard will go away.
Pritchard and Coward banged together with their knees as a travel is called. Roy Williams extremely upset and off the bench. They're going to get a replacement in for Pritchard until they find out that his knee is okay. As he and Coward banged hard. In fact, Coward will go to the bench also.
I'll tell you one thing, both those guys are clutch performers. They're crunch busters. They're the kind of guy you want on a line. At the end of the game, they want the rock in their hands. Coward and Pritchard.
Gordon Jordan come in making the replacements. The bounce inside, and that's going to be Randall reaching around. Second foul on him.
Travis Ford gets the good 45-degree angle and trying to make the entry. He was really very, very influential in Lawrence Funderburk when he was in high school. In fact, the two of them hooked up together in high school. And there's some rumors that Funderburk would like to come to Missouri. Some say Kentucky. He's now in junior college. We're talking about the former great high school player from Ohio, who started this year with Indiana.
7 points for Doug Smith. 1 of 2 at the line tonight.
Really hasn't had the big game. Doug Smith has impressed a lot of people, though, all year long. He's been a dominant force.
Knocks them both down. Let's go to Larry Conley.
You know, Dick, you and I used to coach some years ago. You ever call that timeout and give your players a good chewing? They just got one from Norm Stewart.
Well, it's paid off. They're back up by 4 in a ball game that has been tied. And most importantly, besides the lead, they've taken this partisan house out of it.
That doesn't shock me with Norm Stewart. He's such a competitor and such a fighter, and it becomes contagious in his players.
Maddox. Air ball didn't touch a thing as Callaway comes up with it.
He's got to shoot this one.
Randall has it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Jayhawks.
There is some grunting, some moaning, some pushing, some shoving on the inside. And look at this relaxed guy. He's saying we're on the road. It's just another game. He said, I'm not nervous. I've been through so many of these. Norm Stewart.
22-2 his ball club against Kansas. 24-1.
Oh,
Callaway
what a pass!
with the dish. That's
Scored
goal.
a basket.
Scored for Maddox.
Great pass by Callaway.
14 points now for Maddox on the night.
You know, we saw Norm smiling there. I guess when you've been through what he's been through physically, this is just the game, baby, not life. Like he's had a battle, as we see the goaltending call. He's had a battle, colon cancer. An amazing story as Callaway goes out.
He'll get a breather with 3:35 left.
Very positive performer in the last 4 minutes.
Jamison back into the lineup.
He may not be nervous, but my stomach is jumping. This is so exciting being here. Number 1 and number 2.
2-point game. Very important for the Tigers right here. Pass, nice dish inside. Can't get the hoop at Maddox. Called for the foul, his 3rd.
That's the horizontal screen I often talk about. Comes across the lane. He seals the defensive player button. Gets good baseline position. See, watch him come across. There's the horizontal cut to the ball. Excellent move by Button. Kansas very lucky he doesn't convert and has the 3-point opportunity.
Terry Brown checks in. Jamison will go back to the bench.
There's the big free throws, as you talked about earlier. It can come down to the end, making free throws.
Well, Missouri right now, if the numbers are right on the screen that I'm checking, 13 of 16, 81%. KU 6 of 13, and just as we say it, we jinx it. On the floor, Tigers get it back.
They put up with the loose ball. Oh, they missed him. Should have had it a little earlier.
Button.
Still got away with it. Button with the slash to the goal.
That's a huge three-point play, Dick, as we've just gone under 3 minutes.
And created off the loose ball, something they were concerned about.
They get the one free throw into the easy hoop. Brown tries to cover up some extra ground, can't get it.
No one rotated back. Not really a bad shot for Terry Brown. He's a specialist. He's a long-range shooter. He's a three-point shooter. Not a bad shot in their offensive scheme of things.
Peeler trying to take it over, gets his own follow, takes it up, and they're going to call offensive foul.
Hustling move by Anthony Peeler, but Jim Bain gets him for the foul. I like his control, too. He doesn't lose control on the floor, Peeler. He knows he fouled, just comes back up the other end, gets ready to play.
Third foul on him. 2:29 left in the game, 71-66.
This is a mighty big possession right here. You're down 5, got the ball, 2:29.
Timeouts left. Missouri with 2, Kansas with 4. And a possession error with the Jayhawks.
Remember, in a television game, you get 4 timeouts, TV timeouts each half. Kansas saved all their 4 for the end of this game. Remember his disciple,
Pritchard for 3.
Oh, he doesn't get the bounce. Dean Smith's a master at the end of the game, and I'm sure Roy Williams learned so much about how to control the end of a game sitting next to Dean for 10 years.
Pritchard, according to our number, 3 of 12.
They got to lock him up here.
Oh, nice backdoor cut. Misses the jam, but Maddox fouls it.
They want the intentional foul, the Missouri staff. 4 on Maddox. Great backdoor cut. Look at McIntyre. Good vision. Backdoor cut simply means you cut behind the defensive player. Maddox comes over to take away the sure slam dunk. I like Smith's ability. Has not played well tonight, but he's got things you can't teach. That quickness, the range, the size.
Smith continues as Missouri has drilled him at the free throw line tonight.
You know, Missouri's had a history, though, of really being a disappointment during the NCAA. Last year, they made a strong run until they were beaten by Syracuse 83-80 before Syracuse then ultimately lost to Illinois.
Dick, from the field, they're 26 of 48, over 50%, and at the line, they're 15 of 19.
Shooting well on the free throw line. In fact, in the first meeting, they also beat them on the free throw line. They outscored them from the free throw line. They were 25 for 36, and Kansas was 17 for 25, and the margin of difference was 8 points.
Situation, 1:42 to play, 73 Missouri, 66 Kansas.
He scores here. You have to look for is full court trapping pressure right now. Missouri has to anticipate the trapping zone pressure defense after the conversion.
Kevin gets his 7th point of the night. He also has dealt out 7 assists this evening.
He's had an amazing career, 4 steady years. He's been a consistent, tenacious performer. He's a fierce competitor. He's a member of my old Mike Ditka team, a real competitor, a la Chris Corciani, guys like Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. He's certainly been talked about people like that as being competitors. Judd Bushler from out of Arizona.
Adonis Jordan comes into the ball game.
He's there for
defense. As does Alonzo Jameson. And you could see Markkanen coming in, and that ball's going to stay with Missouri.
Well, he brought in 3 defensive players. He's rotating defense and offense right now. He gets Jordan and Markkanen on the floor for defense.
Peeler.
It's going to come down now to free throw shooting. And this is one guy you don't want to put on the line. He was 20 for 20 against Iowa State.
Nice give and go. Gives it off the button, knocks away, and a new knocked out of bounds. Kansas ball.
Kansas possession.
Callaway quickly off the bench, as is Geltner off the bench.
Roy Williams, certainly an early choice right now for National Coach of the Year. You got to think of Jimmy Calhoun of Connecticut, Gene Tatey down at Purdue, but certainly right now the edge has to go to Roy Williams with the job he has done in this Kansas program, a team that preseason was not ranked.
Geldner, who just checked back in, looks at McIntyre defensively.
They're going to try to get somebody free on that perimeter. Pritchard's one guy, even though he's not shooting well, you like him to shoot it. Yes, sir! You like him to shoot it!
Two-point game.
He's a clutch
Timeout
shooter.
on the floor. 73-71. 67 seconds left.
He's a clutch shooter, Ronnie.
You know the sinking feeling of a dead battery.
Mommy, what's wrong? Just stay in the car.
Now there's the revolutionary Die-Hard Dual Start. It's 2 Die-Hard batteries in one. A simple twist taps its built-in spinner Die-Hard, so you're not left stranded.
Mom, you fixed it.
It's cutting-edge technology, and it's Die-Hard. Die-Hard Dual Start. More power when you need it most.
I'm shocked. I made a challenge to any celebrity who's ever done a Diet Coke commercial to come on TV with me and take a taste test against new Diet Pepsi. But no one showed up, and I'm sitting here with an empty chair. Now, maybe somebody's stuck in traffic or their limo broke down, but maybe they already know that the taste of new Diet Pepsi beats Diet Coke. Now, come on, all you Diet Coke celebrities. You're not afraid of a little Diet Pepsi, are you? Or are you?
New Diet Pepsi with 100% NutraSweet.
Dick, it's fairly evident that Roy Williams has got a defensive team and an offensive team. He's got Jameson, Jordan, and Markkanen coming back into the game to play defense, and then he throws those other 3 guys in there for offense for three-point shooting. Pretty smart.
Yeah, pretty smart, just like they did at Kentucky. They got you out, brick shooter, and make sure you didn't play on the offensive end, just play defense.
By the way, that three-pointer just a moment ago was Kansas, their first one of the second half. They're 1 of 7 this half.
But if you followed, as you look at the timeout situation, if you followed Kansas over the years, Pritchard is a clutch shooter.
Peeler loses the ball, but it was knocked out of bounds. Touched last by Kansas, and a great job of hustle over there by Jameson.
Well, also a great job of officiating. He didn't get intimidated by the Kansas bench. Paul made a good call in that corner. He's a good young official.
Nathan Button says, I'll do it myself. Dishes to Peeler, and they take it back out.
Now they have to demonstrate some poise and patience. 26 on the shot clock. They get a little bump. They nailed Jordan.
Okay, Travis Ford's going to go to the line. And the first thing you ask, should they have fouled him? Absolutely not. 89% is what he shoots from the line.
Yeah, he's been a clutch performer. He hit that big deuce down at the Hilton Coliseum when the game was on the line. He hit the big jumper to give Missouri that 2-point win. Heartbreak City it's been for Johnny Orr. Ford in the last 4 minutes, okay? I did my research here. I'm going to tell you something. You ready for this? 27 for 30 in the last 4 minutes. In the last 2 minutes, he's 22 for 24 in the game. You don't want him there. Like automatic. He's a diaper dandy, but not right now.
This half, Missouri 13 of 15 from the line. That's just this half.
If you're Kansas after this free throw, you got to think about inside, outside, and the one guy on the perimeter, it's got to be Mr. Pritchard. On the inside, you got to think of Randall. He's automatic. Great stroke.
You know, so many times we talk about kids when they go to the line and we jinx them. I don't think anything would jinx him.
No, nothing bothers guys like Mr. Ford, a guy like, for example, Kurt Mans. But right now, let's take a look. It should be perimeter Pritchard, interior Randall.
4-point game. Geldner. Callaway for 3. Not there. Geldner tips the ball, and Missouri got away with a little travel there. Inside the foul, it's Callaway. Picks it up.
See,
Ford
really,
goes down very, very hard.
Not the option you want. Ricky Callaway is not a long-range shooter. He's a medium-range shooter. So you want him to shoot the wing jumper from 15. You don't want him to think of 3. That's got to be in the hands of Pritchard. And on the inside, you want to go down to Mr. Randall. Not a good possession by Kansas. We stop the clock. Again, we get back to the magical foul line. And look who's walking to the line. Oh, wow. Look who's walking to the line. He's 24 for 26 in the last 2 minutes of a game. Last year at this time, he's shooting in high school in the state of Kentucky. Oh, he missed the big one.
But Missouri comes back with the rebound, leading by 4.
Smart play by Ford. A lot of young kids might have went to the goal. He brought the ball back out.
Reach around Callaway with his 4th foul. 17 seconds left. 4 points, Missouri lead.
Offensive rebounding's been a nightmare the entire game for Missouri. Yet the biggest rebound, the offensive rebound right there, that possession, Missouri comes up with it on a missed free throw. Michigan beat Illinois at Champaign, first time in 10 years, because late in the game, Loy Vaught was able to come up with a big offensive rebound.
Peter tonight, 20 points, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, has 6 rebounds and 6 assists.
You break down college basketball to half-court execution, to the transition game in terms of offensive execution, and then the third phase is your shot selection, number 3, but also specialization, free throw shooting, and that's been the difference here. It's just like your special teams in football. You have to excel in that area as well as your offensive and defensive end.
Pritchard for 3. Not there. Ford comes down with the basketball and has been fouled. They're going to call it on Callaway. Randall was the closest man to him, and that will be number 5.
Well, it's going to be celebration time down in Columbia, Missouri. An absolute great win to come into this building and get the W. They beat them here last year. They have beaten them twice this year, and now they look like they go back up again to be Uno number 1. But they got a date with the Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday.
So let's take a look at the Big 8 standings with 6 seconds left. And Missouri about to take over that number 1 position again. 8-1 is what they will be after tonight. Should they win it, or I beg your pardon, 9-1 is what they will be after tonight. If they win, Kansas will go to 7-2. Then Billy Tubbs, Oklahoma Sooners, 5-2. And of course, Missouri's got to play them not only coming up, they got them twice.
They got them at Oklahoma as well. You know, Missouri really impresses me, just like UNLV. The running Rebels right now seem to be getting it in high gear. This week, Jerry Tarkanian's team's got New Mexico State and then a date with Arizona. But it looks like this team is a team to reckon with for Final Four. Certainly these 2 teams right here. I think Michigan, if they get it all together, get back to healthy Sean Higgins, is another team you got to take a deep look at. Duke has really been getting better and better. It's going to be an amazing run again, Ron. The amazing thing about college basketball is that there's nobody out there invincible. Certainly Georgetown's a team that you got to think about, even though they've sputtered a little bit in the second half of the season.
Let me ask you something. Can you remember the last time when any one of them, realistically, there may be any one of a dozen, maybe even 15 teams that could win the Final Four? Can you remember when we had that kind of parity?
I'll tell you what, when we're looking last year, Seton Hall doesn't win their league, Michigan's 3rd in their league, and they win the national championship.
Pritchard won't go. Clock down to 1, and that will do it.
It's celebration time in Columbia, Missouri. Get ready, party time as they go back home. Hey, Ron, it's been a thrill and a pleasure working with you. It's my first time with you, and you're really everything everybody said. Just a great guy to work with.
Thanks, partner. I have enjoyed it an extreme amount. 77-71. And, Dick, not to harp on it, but the one number that Roy Williams is going to look at, and I don't want to take anything away from this great Missouri team, but 53% at the free throw line, that's not going to win against very many people.
Unbelievable. I got a handshake right there from Mr. Button. I thought it was nice that the crowd cheered for the Kansas team as they walked off the floor.
Let's go over to Larry Conley, and he is with Norm Stewart.
You got to be a very, very happy man. Your club was very poised, confident, relaxed down the stretch.
Well, you know what, when you have a good ball club, you're a little more relaxed. I think it tends to relax them a little bit. But this group, they've been a great group. They came in here and they wanted to win the ball game because a lot of people said they couldn't. You know, and that's a pretty good challenge. Great group of youngsters. Did some things that we can improve on. That's what we've been trying to do all year, Larry, but we're happy.
You think your basketball team's a little bit of an extension of your personality right now?
Oh, I don't have any idea about that stuff. All I know is it's been a tremendous group all year long. They've made it fun for me, and I'm just sitting there trying to help them a little bit.
You hung in really tough when they came back. Kansas made a real run at you, and your guys just buckled down and got back and started playing defense.
They made a heck of a run, and we have 10 points to come back to 6. we can't get any movement. And they really after us defensively, but then we finally got some movement, and we're a little more patient, got the ball inside.
You had a little difficulty in that run that Kansas had getting the ball inside because they seemed to get a lot of passes stolen in there.
Well, we're standing there. It's hard to stand when somebody's pressing you. Then we started moving again. I thought Travis Ford, everybody came in the ball game and gave us a little leadership, and it's pretty good for a freshman.
Not bad. Norm, congratulations to you. You've beaten Kansas twice.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay. Ron, Dick.
Okay, Larry, so the final score, Missouri 77 and the Kansas Jayhawks 71. Roy Williams now 0-4 against the Missouri Tigers.